Okay, a warm welcome to our Masters, Brother Joe Huang, Hualien Dharma team, and brothers and sisters around the globe. A very good morning. Let us start the session for today. Today, I would like to share a short accepted master speech. With the spirit of love, spread the way to benefit others. Language is used as a tool for communication with others. Using different languages awaken their spiritual hearts. Languages from different countries are all equally important, hoping the foreign language team can recruit more volunteers. The various religions are just different in names, but it's important to walk the talk and put into practice, respecting each other regardless of religion and language. In the spirit of love, spread the way to benefit others. The way does not necessarily mean studying Buddhism. Doing good deeds is the direction of all religions. Kan'en to Master's teaching. Now let us send our sincere prayers into the 10 directions. May Saha land be free from disaster and peace prevails in the world. Let us sing the prayer song with sincere piousness.
In my heart, I feel deep gratefulness. All my heart is filled with sincere prayer. From all corners of the world, let us join our hearts and pray for a world of harmony and peace. In my heart, I feel deep gratefulness. May all the Buddhas hear my prayer. All united with one heart, let us end our hate with love. May there be no suffering hereafter.
May all minds be purified. May there be peace in the community. May there be no disasters in this world. Now let us pray together for universal love and blessing. With loving respect, gratitude, and confidence, let us wish every person in our lives a healthy body, an enlightened mind, and a total fulfillment in universal love. Now let us expand this consciousness to include every person in the world, every being in the universe. Let our unified love make this wonderful world even better. Let us all immerse ourselves in the joyful embrace of universal love. Before we hear the wonderful sharing, let us invite our masters to lead us in paying homage let us pay our respect for these teachings and explanation to the Buddha and Master Ching Yen by making 3 sincere vows. Please rise, palms together. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. And a bow to our beloved Upper Masters who join us today. Today we have Brother Joe who will be sharing with us on the Dharma Insight, and followed by Sister Hui-Fen with the topic what if. Yeah, okay. So before that, let us invite Sister Su Ching for the weekly summary. And Sister Su Ching, over to you.
Sister Lily. Okay, so last week we had 3 sharers. And Brother Joe Huang first, in cities, vibrant halls where the spirit of charity thrives. 58 years of memories woven a tapestry of many enlightened lives. On 1st of May at the day's dawn brought forth a call echoing through the air of Master's imminent arrival and hearts filled with eager care. News spread swiftly of an upcoming broadcast, stirring souls to heights unknown. From Vulture's Peak, the sacred stage where Buddha's teachings were once eternally shown. Preparations unfolded swiftly, like threads in a grand tapestry divine. Hopeful hearts beat in unison to the rhythm of a purposeful design. Though electricity faltered, it could not dim the glow of optimism's flame. No and low connectivity could stifle spirits as faith's light continued to proclaim. In the pre-dawn hours, darkness embraced the land in its silent shroud. United in prayer, Buddhist masters' voices blending in devotion loud. Chanting the Sutra of Infinite Meaning, a treasure long sought. We acknowledge Master's wisdom, bringing forth the Sutra that was until merely 60 years ago forgot. Then we had Master Te Huang. Last Saturday, when Master Te Huang imparted her sage advice, with a video she set the scene with wisdom shining bright. A lecturer posed a query deep, why do laws come to play? He staged the experience of a wrongful dismissal, which sparked the dialogue for that day. Injustice stalks the shadow, yet action we delay, hoping for another's voice to rise as injustice has its way. The lecturer's words inspire to empower each student's choice, to speak for truth, to stand for right with a united voice. Master Te Huang's message echoes Master Cheng Yen's plea. To care for others as we do ourselves is really to set our spirits free. Karma cycle forever turns, what we give we shall receive. Compassion's touch and loving kindness are truly the greatest gifts we can conceive. In the aftermath of tragedy's grip, Siti's heart beats strong. In Gujarat's quake, in Hualien's call, compassion drives them on. Raising funds, extending aid to those in deepest need. Siti continues to stand for hope and a hand to hold in every word and deed. In Hualien's quake was a teacher's tale of sacrifice, though sad, escaping death's clutches, yet returning to rescue out of the love for her cat. For even in life's final moments, she chose to serve and save, a lesson learned in love's pure light beyond the cold embrace of the grave. And then we had, hold on, I can't see this. Oh, shoot, sorry. Okay, we had Brother David, and Brother David spoke. Upon returning to Malaysia at a due diligence day trainings fold, that was attended by more than 1,500 attentive and inspiring souls. Brother David saw in the volunteers their dreams and eyes brightly shine. They will have the initial aspirations so pure and simple, strong and divine. Amidst life's vast challenges, our own troubles seem so small, afflictions that are just steps on the path to Buddhahood's grand hall. With Buddha's Dharma, fear takes flight as wisdom takes its place. In Hualien's quake, after shocks aplenty, impermanence has the final say. As tremors shake the earth, Brother David ponders on fate's demand. How do we lack in deeds of goodness in life's intricate stance? Yet within us lies the power to shape our destinies, to use our knowledge for others' gain. Don't wait, as we do not know what the future be. Brother David told of a plumber volunteer. Amidst chaos, repairs with utmost care. No payment taken, for he finds no gain in another's despair. This volunteer escaped danger's grasp in split seconds. His deeds speak of his merits earned. From others to our own experiences is a treasury of lessons to learn. Ikan for listening. I shall stop share. And Sister Stephanie, pass on to you to introduce the
Yeah, and then so much, Sister Su Ching, for always giving us a wonderful summary to help us recap last week's session with also very compelling insights and questions. So actually it's already 6:32, and today, as we all know, very good morning to all the brothers and sisters. Our session today is a little bit shorter than usual because many of us are heading to King's Hall for the preparation for tomorrow's Buddha Day. But we are very grateful that we are able to have Brother Joe Huang to continue his sharing for us today. And brother, please welcome. Platform is yours.
Thank you, Stephanie, and good morning, everybody. And good to hear that we are heading to King's Hall for the rehearsal, for the preparation for tomorrow. That's what we're going to do later too. So I think that's what's going to happen all across. It's wonderful. Look at today outside. It's a beautiful day. I hope it doesn't rain. And yesterday, the preparation team came to the abode and they prepare the plan to report to Master and make sure that the entire preparation was in place. And obviously, Master gave some reminders, and all the planning hopefully will go well. And obviously, the most important part is the one that we can expect, which is the weather. Last year, it was raining. I remember we all had to put on the raincoat, and you can just imagine that putting on a raincoat, the entire scene itself is not the most perfect. And so it was difficult, but let's hope that tomorrow the weather is going to be good. And there's going to be, well, maybe I won't tell you. Maybe you will see it for yourself. It's a very big change. So we'll see what happens. Hoping that everything will go okay. All right, so let's go with sharing that I have for you today. And we're going to pick up continuing about the Sutra of Infinite Meanings. I think I tried to do this about 2 weeks ago, and I started it, and then I think 3 weeks ago. And then for 2 weeks, we went into sort of not being able to go into this. And so today I wanted to come back and pick this up again and continue the Sutra of Infinite Meanings, and hoping that we can continue with our commentaries from the Sutra of Infinite Meanings by Master Cheng Yen. Okay, so previously we talked about the context, which is the 3 chapters. And I think each chapter has its purpose, each chapter has its meanings, and each chapter has the objective that it's trying to achieve. And so we should definitely know the context, definitely know what is going on. And in chapter 1, we're talking about the virtues, and these are the subsections, more than 4, but I'm only listing 4 for now. And we're going to be talking about the first one. And the first one, even just the very first part, the thus have I heard, was already coming into 3 sections. And last time we talked about Ananda's 4 questions. So this is the beginning, the 4 questions. And basically, how will we be able to prove that these teachings belong to the Dharma that the Buddha taught? And after the Buddha departs from the world, whom shall we call our teacher? And if there are unruly bhikkhus and who do not accept the teachings, how should we discipline them? And lastly, the 4th question, once the Buddha departs from the world, with whom or in what shall we take refuge? And last time we talked about the 4 questions. And these 4 questions essentially I rule them. I sort of group them into 4 different attributes. The first question, how do we know that this is actually a teaching from the Buddha? And this talks about authenticity. For something to be able to sustain for a long time, now we definitely need to be able to make sure that what we are following is indeed the teaching of the Buddha. The last thing we want to do is to follow something so devotingly and then realizing that this is not the teaching, and that would be horrible. So we want to make sure, as Buddha mentioned, that that's something that we need to make sure that the teachings are passed down correctly. The next thing is, how do we continue, right? After the Buddha departs from the world, who is our teacher? Who is going to be our teacher? And that talks about continuity. How do we continue this teaching even after the Buddha, our teacher, has left, the founder and the teacher has left? So all these things speaks true to all the enterprises in this world. Anything that's going to that's going to go through the birth and the death, right? Anything that goes through the creation and the cessation, all these things will have to live with these very important questions. Are the things that we're following authentic? Are the things that we're following, can they continue? Is there continuity in the future? And also, when there are challenges from within, when there are dissent from within, what do? We had to adapt. We had to be able to change from within. We had to be able to change while keeping the core essence intact. How do we make sure that we adapt? How do we make sure that we change so that it suits the people that we're trying to help, or our target audience, whether it's outside or inside? We had to adapt. But there's going to come a time when we can't adapt. There's going to come a time when the challenges will overcome anything that we put up. Then it comes to survival. Can this Dharma lineage, can this truth, can this teaching survive the current status? Can it survive all these challenges? And these are the 4 very important aspects that we will probably see in all things that is trying to sustain itself. Whether we're talking about life, whether we're talking about civilization, whether we're talking about any Dharma teaching, you have to talk about authenticity, continuity, adaptability, and survivability. These are the things that all things must answer, all things must confront in order to reach that sustainability goal. Okay, so one of the things that we talked about was about the adaptability. Because there are going to be people that are going to be dissent from within. There are going to be people that are unhappy from within, right? So what do you do with them, right? So Master said that for Buddha, at the time of the Buddha, to unruly bhikshus, what do? Must use compassion to show them the error of their ways. But if they refuse to learn, even the Buddha would do nothing but ignore them. So essentially, there is not much that you can do, other than use compassion and then ignore. But I think what the Buddha was trying to do is not ignoring them forever, right? But just put it down for now. There's nothing you can do now, so let's not do anything. However, it doesn't mean that you will do nothing forever. It means that at this moment, there is no better thing to do. Therefore, we will stay put. We'll stay put right now. But if there comes a better opportunity, then we should take this opportunity and we'll try to help them. Okay, so that's what the Buddha was telling Ananda, and that's what Master tells us. And I really think that if you expand from this adaptability issue, then I really think that this is the Sangha that is very, very different from the time, from the entire setting, from all the things that we have looked at. That back then it was probably in the society, the order of society, the hierarchy of the society is very authoritative. It's something that, there are figures that has a lot of authority and power. However, the Buddha, even though was a prince, was a crown prince, was somebody who is going to assume the role of a king, assume the role of a leader, and even that he didn't become the king, he became the founder of Buddhist teachings. He became the founder of Buddhism, the entire following. he has his disciples, and he should be the one in the most authoritative figure. He must be the one with the most power and the most authority. Yet he told his followers and passed on to the future generations that in this group, the monastic order, there isn't going to be a thing where you can compel another person to do something, because the learning and the cultivation has to come from within. It cannot be something that's forced. And therefore, from this idea about Buddha saying what to do to these unruly bhikshus, you can sort of tell that it's already something that is different, deviating from what people used to know and used to think, used to believe in terms of any groups of people, the order that they will follow. So this is going to be the least authoritative, with as much liberty and freedom for all members of the Sangha, in that they can choose whether they want to follow or they don't want to follow. They can even choose to stay in this order, even though at this moment they're trying to sort things out in their head. That's all possible. You cannot force them, and you're not supposed to compel them. It's something that they have to be willing to do and willing to be engaged in their own. So I think this is something that speaks for itself about the control, about the order that's within the Sangha, about how to maintain this order. It's not through power and absolute power or absolute authority. It's through inner cultivation for each individual. Is that something that you want to do? So this is something that I really wanted to bring out, something that I believe is important, that Buddha was truly an innovator, in that time, he innovated, he created this order that does not require, or does not rely on the power and authority of the founder or of the head. So what binds this together isn't just the rules and the precepts. It's everyone's willingness to follow the precepts. Because even if you have the power to execute these rules to the letter, if people don't want to follow it in their heart, then there are always going to be loopholes. For example, if people don't want to follow the traffic law, then they're only abiding it, they're only following it because of the harsh penalty. When one day there is no power to execute these penalties, then all the rules will cease to function, because they will not follow. So it's very important that everybody willingly tries to follow to the letter of the precepts. Okay, so that's something that I spoke about, and I think that's very important. Okay, so it's the individual. When you have the individual able to adapt themselves and change themselves accordingly, then you have the adaptability of the collective. Okay, so compassion is always the key to adaptation, right? Don't just think about, I want to do a certain way, and if you don't follow this, then I'm going to remove you from this order. That's not how Buddha wants the Sangha to act, to proceed, and that's not how Master wants Tzu Chi to function. So this is the same way. Okay, so now we're going to begin the sharing for this week. So we have about 15 minutes left, and that's fine. We're going to be taking to see how far we go. Okay, so chapter 1, other than thus have I heard, we're going to go into the next part, which is the time and the location, right? The origin of the city, Wang Shecheng, the city of House of Kings, and it's a spiritual center suitable for spreading the Dharma. These are the two subsections inside the book that talks about the particular time and the particular location. So we talked about the beginning, the 4 questions, the 3 meanings, and now we're going to go into the location and the time, specifically talking about the spiritual center. So we see that in this particular sutra, it talks about at one time, right? So location and time is always very important. For example, because we know that this was about 600 BC, so we roughly know about the civilizations around that time. We roughly know about the people, the government structure, and the customs, the historical backgrounds of that time. So when we know about these contexts, then we're able to figure out that what was the problem that was faced by most of these people at that time. You know, obviously it's not going to be electricity, it's not going to be internet outage, That's not going to be the problem faced by those people, right? So these are the very important contexts that we need. For example, on the eve of the Buddha's birthday ceremony, we know that this is the year 2024, and we probably will know that this is about the third year. We're into the third year of the Ukraine war, and we probably will know that this is probably the second year ever since last year October that the Israel and the and Gaza's conflict happened. So we have this important context. We know about the COVID, and therefore Master's speech will fit that context, and that's why location and the time is very important. However, in the sutra, it talks about at one time. So it's not exactly specific. It's actually very, very loose. And so Master talks about this is the case because there's an uncertainty of the global standard time. There is no global standard time at the moment, right? So even though we're talking about this is so-and-so, this is 7 o'clock in the morning, however, it's not exactly 7 o'clock in the morning everywhere in the globe. And therefore, you can't possibly specify all the different time zones. So that's what they said at one time. And so there's a couple of things that the story of the city of House of Kings. And so at one time is not exactly specific. And the story of the city of House of Kings are actually kind of convoluted. Okay, it's a very weird story. Okay, it's just weird. And I'm not sure if anybody that read it, with the common sense, will really, try to believe the story. But in any event, okay, the whole point was that through city of House of Kings, there were many things involved. There were people involved. There were kings involved. There were even supernatural beings involved. There were animals involved. And all these things, they're able to think and act like a person. The animals were able to think and act. The supernatural beings, they are able to think and act. And obviously people were able to think and act. So it was a very different time. It was a very different setting. But what all these things speak to, the whole important thing about this is that the Dharma was taught to all kinds of sentient beings, not just human, not just people. When we see these stories, it's not about the sense or the logic of the story, even though that's what really I fall into. I fall into trying to put together the logic in the story. But then I take one step back. I stop thinking about is there logic in this story? Does it make sense? I take one step back and I try to think about what was the story trying to tell us? It involves all these very weird things happening between different realms. You have the animal kingdom, you have the realm of animals, you have the realm of these, blood-sucking, asuras. You have all these things coming from different realms. And then you have the people, the human beings. So what does that mean? It means that the Dharma was taught to all kinds of sentient beings, not just the human, right? And the exact time will be different to express throughout all sentient beings. I'm not even talking about different location. I'm talking about different sentient beings will have a different idea of the time. For example, for an ant or a mosquito or a fly or a bee, their lifespan is not going to exceed a week. And therefore, if you talk about months and years, it's going to be very difficult for these sentient beings to understand. Similarly, for supernatural beings, our time in terms of a year is way too short. For them, it's probably like a day or an hour or a minute. So for them, their time is expressed in a much longer sense than our time. So all these sentient beings, because the Dharma applies to all of them, therefore the time must also apply to all of them. And so it would be very difficult and different to express. And that all these things were meant to say that Dharma is spread across a spectrum so wide, to a place so wide, to the target audience so wide, that it's beyond our understanding. It's something that we can try to understand, and then there are things that we can't even possibly begin to try to understand. And so so Dharma itself, the teaching itself, we always hear that when the Buddha teaches Dharma, it spreads through all 10 directions to all realms and sentient beings. The effect of it is something that's beyond our comprehension. It's not like us, we hear it. Oh, Master is talking online now. Let's go online and hear it. But there are other beings in this world, in different realms, where the effect of the Dharma, it's not just through their ears. They might not have ears to listen, or the things that they listen will be completely different. So it's completely beyond our expectation or beyond our understanding. So I will not try to understand it, and I will not try to share it. All I'm trying to say is Dharma is spread across a spectrum so wide that is beyond what we can understand. Okay, so most importantly, the thing about the location, it must be suitable for spreading Dharma. And that's what was mentioned in the book, that first of all, it needs to be among the people, right? The people that's going to share it are obviously the target audience is going to be people, right? We can't possibly go spread the Dharma to animals because we don't even know the language they speak. But at least for us, for the Sangha, for the order of the Sangha, they are going to spread it to the people, and that's going to be for the people, and therefore you must live close to the people. You are able to get to the people, get to the masses. But you cannot live so close by that you're affected by the people. For example, Master talks about in the book that if you're too close to a city center, the center of the city, then you're going to have all these people coming by every day, that there is going to be no time for you to do anything worth your work. You know, there's going to be no time for you to do the things that you need to do. So I think this is something it's a balance between you have to be for the people, but you have to be reasonably detached from the people. Same thing. You are entering into the world, all these worldly matters that you have to be engaged with. But at the same time, you have to keep a distance, whether it's in your heart, in your mind, so that you're not completely affected by this. Close enough to spread the Dharma, but just far enough for the minds to be tranquil, so that you're not affected by all the noisy surroundings. I mean, truly, somebody who can, completely avoid and block all these things out, it's probably 1 in a million. It's not going to be every day you find somebody who can do this. So in order for a spiritual center, in order for a location that's suitable for cultivation, it has to be close by to the people, accessible to the people, but it's not going to be that close that you're going to be affected by the people, just far enough for the minds to be tranquil. So this is something that I try to find in different places, in all these different online periodicals. I try to find these stories that's current events and something that I want to share. So when we talk about a good location, we talk about schools, and we talk about what to do about the timing and location. And I found the stories to fit pretty good. Okay, so this is a story about in New York. So it's a lot of you probably know, education has always been a very key issue in America, especially when it comes to K through 12, that kids just don't want to learn. And they change all their teaching materials and they teach all these things, but the kids just are not interested to learn. And so, but one of the key issue was that it's not just that they don't want to learn, it's that schools are also not inadequately funded. Okay, so, and another thing is that families now have, two sources of income. Both the father and the mother works, and there's a problem, right? The school lets out at around 3 or 4 p.m. and the parents can't go get their kids, right? So what do? Can you make sure that you send your kids to some kind of after school program? But it costs a lot of money, right? So now the school in Brooklyn, they try to figure out, maybe we can do something that benefits everybody involved, right? So you provide better education, and you provide education for these kids who don't want to learn, but this is not exactly a learning environment. And then you provide a safe haven for parents who have not finished work yet. They cannot come pick up their kids. So they try to do this. And in fact, this is not something that's done in America. In Japan too, they have low birth rates. And so they try to inspire more people to have kids. And one of the things they do is to have good daycare center. good school, after school program. So the parents are more confident that they can have work and they can have life balance, children balance at the same time. So the school says that they can arrive 7 in the morning, which is early. Usually schools don't start until 8 or 9, but you can arrive at 7 in the morning and leave anytime before 7 p.m. for free. And that means the kids get to stay after school, and you can do a lot of homework. You can do a lot of work at that time. And the parents don't have to they don't have to worry about sending them to daycare or after school care and pay for a lot of money. They can just put them in school. So the idea to staying open 12 a day seems to be working, right? All these kids have signed up, and now it's longer hours. And do they like it? Because it's different. It's not exactly like class. It's not exactly like homework time, but there is a different program that goes after school, right? So the report says the most important school amenity, it's not the state-of-the-art science lab or media studio or computers, but affordable childcare. And I think that in America, this is very true. People, they don't know what to do with their kids, because you're going to work all these time and you're not off work at that time. So now you have to get off work to send them to take them back and then work from home. You can't even work because the kids is at home. So research shows that after school programs, especially high quality ones, obviously, can help improve child's attendance, like academics and other measures of well-being, including mental health. And this is important. The last thing you want to do is they're loitering around the streets, right? So therefore, many families just wanted better childcare, and there was a huge need, and very good. So there was a question that was asked. And this is the last part we're going to get to today. So this was actually written in the book, and this was actually in a talk that was given by Dharma Master Cheng Yen. So Master says, Buddhist practitioners must not have attachment in their minds or think that this is the spiritual training ground for me. This is the only one. If there are Dharma masters elsewhere, I cannot go and listen to them. And so the question was asked by somebody who read the book and says, well, can this be true? Because we were told that I can only go to Tzu Chi, right? I can only go to the Jingsi Hall, and I can only go to this place. I can only have one Dharma master. I can only have one master. So now, Master, you're telling me that I cannot think this way? So Master says we must not have this kind of mindset. Wherever there is Dharma, we must listen to it more. Every Dharma master and every lay practitioner must gain insights from their studies, for everyone has their own wisdom and knowledge. So the question is, isn't that what we're supposed to just stick to one? And the answer is true. It's true. Both is right. Both what the master said and both what we were told are correct, right? So it's important to know the other options. For example, you need to know that other than the child care that you're sending your kids to, there's also the after school program, and it's free. It's free. It's free for you to explore these options. And it's very important. It's free, and it's important for us to explore all these options and alternatives. However, when you're set, when you know that this is the right option for you, when you know that this is the one path you want to take, it's important to go deeper instead of spreading thin, right? You already know that this is what you want to do. Then you should focus on it and build on top of it, rather than spreading thin and saying, oh, I want this and I want that too. So both of these are correct, but it depends on where you are. Depends on where you are. Are you still searching, or are you set? And I always use these as an analogy. You think about when you're still dating, right? When you're having a lot of friends and you want to find the best person to call your future husband or wife, and you're still dating, you need to keep these options open. You need to try to look for the best match. So is it going to be filial? Is he going to accept my family? Are we going to be, match, right? Is it going to be a good match? However, once you're set, you're marrying this person, it's not a good idea to keep it open anymore, right? It's more important to keep set, right? So that's why it's important to sort of focus and build on something that you already know. So you're not overly attached, nor are you overly attached to always looking. It depends on the time and stage, right? So lastly, there's another story from Bloomberg, and this is talking about battery electric vehicle versus hydrogen fuel cell. So at the time, about 15 years ago, entire California, they had an idea that they want to go, they put their bets on hydrogen fuel. So therefore, they have this grant, they have this budget to build all these hydrogen highway, where on the highway, you're able to recharge your hydrogen fuel cell. However, as we know, in the last 5 years or 10 years, hydrogen fuel hasn't really taken off. It's actually the electric vehicles and it's battery electric vehicles that have taken off. So what you have is, now you know that you found the wrong bet, right? You're spreading yourself, you're trying all these options, but after you know that the battery electric vehicle is the way to go, you invest in it. Otherwise, you're just gonna be having hydrogen fuels and having battery electric vehicles, and neither of them get the enough services that people need. Okay, so all these problems, right? Drivers, they only have about 3,000 hydrogen cars in California versus 380,000. So that's about 100 times more than 100 times more the vehicles. So you need to know which path that you want to build on. And this is very true, not just in spiritual practice, but also in our everyday lives. Okay, so including the stations, you should, the infrastructure costs should correspond to the people that's buying them. So all these things, something that we should always know about. So location and time is what we talk about today. Okay, so that's a sharing from me today. And I hope that, this is a different perspective for people. When we're reading the book, it's not just reading what Master says, but how do you actually mix it with different stories and mix it with, your ideas to understand what was the background, what was the context. And I think that's very important. Thank you. Have a good day and have a great Mother's Day tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Brother Joe Huang, for a very enlightening insight into the core lessons that actually we have to learn from as we read. Actually, it's what's more important is what is beyond the words. Yeah, and to be able to do that, I think, and to actually stop and think about what is relatable to us in this current era and current state. So anyhow, we have these 4 things that's a very, very I think very important. The 4 questions of Ananda's actually to address the issue of authenticity, continuity, adaptability, and that all comes will result in our survivability, I guess. So very grateful once again to Brother Joe Huang for always guiding us, very timely, because these questions are inside our mind and inside our heart, and you have given us the answers today. Kanan once again. Okay, and before we let Brother Joe go, can we all switch on our video so that we can take a photo with Brother Joe? Kindly, brothers and sisters, please switch on your video. Kanan. Yes, all right. And may we invite Sister Lily to help us take a photo?
Yeah.
And I can see Sister Hui Fen, our Sister Hui Fen, our young Sister Hui Fen. We're all looking forward towards her sharing. It's a very interesting title. It's a play on the word inner peace. I have no idea, but I searched it up, and I think it's got something to do with environmental protection in terms of vegetarianism. And I'm very grateful that we have young people leading the way. I must always say we can learn. 100-year-old can learn from 25-year-olds there. Okay, so we are very grateful once again for everybody, and especially Brother Joe Huang. Okay. So Sister Hui Fen, as I know, is from the limited information, you are a Su Ching. Yes, and you have commission. Wonderful. This is really, really wonderful. So without further ado, I think we're 5 minutes late. We'll pass the platform over to Sister Hui Fen.
Hello.
With her sharing entitled Inner Peas, Peas.
Oh, okay. Actually,
We thought that was the
is
wrong spelling.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that was the name of the social media page that I run with my friend. Okay. Can you all hear me?
Yes. Yeah, I kind of searched it up.
All right. So
Would you
just
like to share your PowerPoint?
Yep. Hold on. Sorry, just give me a minute. Okay. Oh, wait. Where I'm gonna to share.
It's okay, take your time. Sister
Shares
Lily,
now.
do we have a copy of the PowerPoint? Okay, it's on now. Okay.
All right. So, Canon Sister Stephanie. And hello and good morning to all of you. Thank you so much to being here with us today and allowing me to have this opportunity to share about the topic of what if. Okay, so a little about me. My name is Hui Fen, and I joined Su Ching as Sister Stephanie say. I joined Su Ching when I was teaching. So now I'm currently working as an accountant. And Innerpeas is actually the name of the social media page I run with my friend. So we call it Innerpeas because we just like kind of, yeah. Actually, our logo is like two green peas. So we just like play with the word peas and peas. Peas and Pace. Okay. So how old I am? So here's the hint. Because a lot of my friends, they got married recently and many of them got pregnant, especially last year. I'm not sure the community like how's their experience in Taiwan because in Malaysia, oh okay, sorry, I'm from Malaysia. Then like so many of my friends, they are like just trying to get married last year because they just want to get dragon baby this year. So like maybe you can just roughly guess my age now. Okay, this is not the important part. So let's get started. Before I get started, I'm just curious how many of you are the mothers in this room? If you're a mother, could you type like me in the chat box? Let's see. Oh, okay.
I'm a mother 3 times over, so I typed 3 times.
Oh, I see, I see. Uh, do we have any other else? Oh, I see, I see. Okay,
Sister Su Ching
yeah.
always playing on words.
Ah, okay, so we have mother here. So happy Mother's Day in advance. So, okay, why am I asking this question? Is because since many of my friends they have became mothers, then when we hanging out, our topics are mostly related to like the mother stories about like I know about the motherhood. I used to know that our motherhood is all great, but now I get to know about the details. When I get to know about details, I truly feel that oh my god, this is being a mother is just incredible. It is just I would say very hard. Okay, I just learned that as a mother, they always cannot get enough of sleep, especially for newborns. When they are newborns, there are so many things they need to do, like day and night, sanitize, a lot of cleaning, so many things. And I realized one of the hardest thing to do is breastfeeding. Oh my God. When I heard about the story, it was so hard and so stressful and tiring because the mother need to like feed the baby every 4 hours, and each feeding session is about 1 hour plus. So like total 5 hours. Like they need to like keep repeating this cycle. It really needs a lot of patience and love so that they can continue doing this for months, right? I think maybe many of you can relate about this. So another challenge the mothers they need to deal a lot is the baby attachment as well. Because I heard that my friends they talking about the baby is very attached to them, even though they are like just go to kitchen preparing their milk. When the baby is awake and realize the mother is not around, they would just like cry like they lost the word, maybe just to get the intention. But I feel that they actually feel insecure as well. So I I I I heard a lot of mothers who say, oh, when the baby is awake, they are like their cry is very heartbreaking. So I actually saw the funny memes like they showing the mothers they have to stay with the baby even when they are in toilet. I'm not sure if any one of you did the same before. They just need to stay with the baby when they're in toilet as well. So being mother is breastfeeding is really hard and the separation is hard as well. So it goes to today's topic. What if I tell you that I actually separated a mother and a baby previously, but it wasn't intentional? That time I watched a video and realized that I actually separated a baby from its mother when I consume milk or dairy product. So I was so shocked that time. That time I was vegetarian. So because I know the story that the in order for humans to drink cow's milk and or to produce the dairy products, so the calf they need to be taken away from their mother. They just like need to take away from their mothers. It's because humans and cows, we both are actually mammals. We need to go through pregnancy to produce milks for babies. So they just need to, like, in order for human to take the milk from cow, so they need to take away the baby. So when I know about that, I was shocked because, and it, in some point, it's very relatable because my friend just told me about. There are so many stories about breastfeeding is so hard. Sometimes they get stressful and the milk is so little. And now I listen about this, then I realize like both experiences are almost the same. So I trying to relate, and I kind of can feel the pain of separation. But I am a big fan of cheese. I was vegetarian that time. Then my top favorite food, I would say I could eat it every day, is like carbonara. Not sure if you know what is carbonara. It is actually a spaghetti then cooked with milk and cream. So it make it like super rich, creamy, that kind. I can eat it every day. So when I know about this, does it means that I need to give up my carbonara? And I'm that kind of person love dairy products. Is that I love like enjoy going to the bakery shop because you know the smells of the butter and those pastry, they're just so good. So the time I just like, oh, don't tell me about this because I I used to think that vegetarian is like, okay, it's the best I can do. I already trying my best. And then one day, my friend, this is my friend that running the Innerpeas page as well. She went vegan. She is my best friend. I remember that day I passed her a packet of biscuits. So this is the story about how I started. Then she looked at the ingredient and say, "Oh no, I don't want to take this anymore cause there's milk inside." So I was like, "What? Don't want to eat because there's milk inside? So what's going on now? Are you like trying to be vegan?" But I was like, "Oh no." So what's what's going to happen next? I don't want to like I don't know to think what's going to happen, but because we are close friends, of course, like we will influence each other. So she actually telling me that the story she met a restaurant owner who is also one of our friend now. That was a vegan restaurant. Then he asked her a question that vegetarian, why stop at 90% and not go to all the way to be vegan because we only left only like maybe 10%. But because I'm not doing that 10%, then 90% of effort will be wasted. He mentioned that in fact, vegetarian, we actually end up consuming more eggs and dairy, and it could support the animal farming as much as non-vegetarian do. Oh my God, this statement is like, so it's like we're currently doing 90%. We just left only 10%.
Sister Hui, is
Sorry?
it okay if I interrupt you for a while? There
Uh-huh.
seems to be a black box hiding your blocking your PowerPoint.
Oh, is
Is
it
there
better
a
now?
window? Yeah, there.
Yeah. Okay, that was the chat box. Okay. So so maybe I just repeat about this, which is there. Okay, the statement is like you're a vegetarian. So you are doing 90%, you left only 10%. But because of not doing that percent, and 90% of the effort will be wasted. So that time she really like blew her mind because we were vegetarian for a long time, and sometimes we talk about vegan, but then we just ignore because it is just that time like it's just very hard. We were like roommate last time. Then it's like and now we just consume. I would say eggs and dairy is our favorite. So that time after she heard about this statement, she really determined want to make the change. Then after I listened about this, I also thought for a while because there's still as I say, carbonara is my favorite, and there's still like ice cream, croissant, like there seems so many things I need to give up. So I really reluctant to change, and I keep giving myself the excuse that because this is just not convenient. So until I watched this video.
What image most comes to mind when we think of dairy cows? Content animals grazing in lush green pastures? But is the life of a dairy cow as idyllic as it seems? Dairy cows naturally produce a constant flow of milk, right? Wrong. Like other mammals, cows only produce milk when they have to feed a baby. The thing is, dairy cows don't get to feed their babies. They are taken from them so that their milk can instead be harvested for human consumption. You didn't know, did you? Every mother's priority is nurturing and protecting her baby. So to have your baby taken away from you in their first day of life must be agonizing. The routine separation of cow and newborn calf is perhaps the most heart-wrenching practice that happens in any animal farming system. Mothers have been known to grieve for days, bellowing inconsolably for their calf. What happens to the calves, you ask? Some may be raised for dairy beef, but most of the male calves and any females not needed as herd replacements are unwanted. Some baby calves are killed on the farm. Many others are collected and trucked to abattoirs to be slaughtered before they are even a week old. Each year in Australia, as many as 700,000 baby dairy calves are born and then killed as byproducts of the dairy industry. You didn't know, did you? This is an industry that impacts animals and the farmers who, no matter how distressing for them, dutifully do what's necessary to produce milk for human consumption. There are kinder choices. Choices that can drive other, kinder commercial opportunities for farmers. You can help to create that kinder world. Choose dairy-free.
Okay. So I just want to make sure the video just now that the voice is okay. Yeah. Hello.
Yes, we could hear it, sister.
Okay. All right. Okay. So after watching this video, right, it is actually quite shocking when I get to know about the dairy farming industry in such. Actually, not only this video, like there are still other videos that then I get to know that the way they are doing is actually quite inhumane. So it is actually quite different as compared to those advertisements I watched last time. Like, those cows are supposed to be like happy cow, as what I expected. They're like running freely on the grass and living happily after. So when I get to know the things that it's totally different from the advertisement that I watched last time, because at the end of the day, the cow, they are not living happily ever after, but in fact they are still need to experience. This is the milking machine they are using, and at the end of the day they just need, I mean, go to the slaughterhouse just like any other cows that non-vegetarian consume. So this explain the waste of the 90% of effort that I put in as a vegetarian. So after long thought, I keep asking myself, can I give up the carbonara and those dairy products? But when I'm eating those things again after watching this video, it just reminds me all the uh footage that I watched just now. So it's just like after long thought, I decided to switch my diet from vegetarian to vegan. So, but still, when I decided to change, I couldn't imagine my life like after being vegan. So I told my friend that I didn't know how I'm going to survive like after I changed to vegan, because it seems we need to give up so many things. Then she told me that maybe we can explore more about the vegan recipe in YouTube, since cheese is our like main pain point. So we started explore from that. And yes, maybe I just share a recipe because this is the first recipe we try. Surprisingly, we found out actually just blending this ingredient, the mixture is actually tastes like cheese. Look at that. So we called it cheese sauce. Okay, so surprisingly, the taste is actually, I wouldn't say like 100%, but I would say maybe 80%. So at least it fixed my craving. And I know that my vegan, I mean the life going forward won't be that dull. And yeah, so I've been vegans for 3 years now. You probably thought that I'm going to share about the amazing experience like after I went to vegan. Yes, in fact it is, but I don't want just to mention about the good side, because there are still some challenges that I'm still overcoming. But it is not difficult as I thought it was. So I'm quite confident to tell you that it's good to be vegan. I still can enjoy my favorite food, and life is still good and amazing. And hopefully the sharing will give you some inspiration if you want to start. Okay, so there are actually 4 areas that I focus on, which is my mindset, my body, my relationship with family, and also my social cycle. And throughout the journey, there are 2 key points that supporting me. I keeps reminding myself with these 2 keywords, which is the brother David, David Huang mentioned just now is about the compassion, and also another one is the open-minded. All right. So first is about the mindset. I always remind myself that I need to be very clear about my purpose. So like why I decided to go vegan, because there are so many temptation out there. There are so many we need to overcome. So it's about being empathic for animals, because it's not their choice to become animals, but the choice is actually on ours to choose whether or not to eat them. So I'm thinking, if I'm changing my diet will stop all this to happen, then why not? Just give it a chance. So these are the main reason that support me when I'm facing some of the challenges. Sometimes we just, I would say inconvenient, but then I just remind myself, okay, because there's a will, there's a way. So you will find a way to do it. Okay, so this is first thing, the mindset. And another thing is about the healthy body. So at the end of the day, I still need a healthy and strong body to support for this decision. So I'm trying to making sure every day I eat enough of the vegetables, tomatoes, proteins, and nuts, and try to make sure I get some sun exposure and enough of supplement like B12 so that my body can support me for this decision. So I started to research how to be healthy in this diet. Then I realized this plate method. I try to follow this like everyday meal. So I just make sure that 50% of my plate have the vegetables or fruits. Then 25% is about the grains. Then 25% is about the protein. So I also need to incorporate some fats, healthy fats here, like olive oil, avocado. Then some supplements, which is the B12 and sun. So these are, because so many people question about vegan protein. So these are actually the choices for vegan protein. There are so many choices out there. And this is the plate method I mentioned just now. So this is fruit and vegetables. We just need to ensure we have some green and orange veggie each day. Then yeah, so we just aim for slightly more serving vegetables than fruits. Then about 3 to 4 servings of fruits, or 4 to 6 servings of vegetables daily. Like you take different kind of vegetables. So for the grains, it's like those healthy grain, whole grain, tortilla. So like at least we need to have half of the daily grain to as the whole grain. Then this is the plant-based protein, which is the tofu, tempeh, edamame. These are the, I would say, the meat replacement, and also the fat. This is, I would say, the healthy fat. Like I trying to make sure my meal including all this. So so this is about healthy body. So I started to research more. So I just go to Netflix and know more about like nutrition and also the facts from these documentaries. All right. So to research more, these are the social media account that I follow, which is Earthling, Mankay, Joey Cupstrong. They talk about a lot of facts about the animal farming. And these are the recipe, I would say the social media account in Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram. We are actually following them for more info about this vegan diet. So there are so many reasons out there why we want to be vegan. It is about compassion to animal, to save our planet, health, and inner peace. So another things, once I know that, okay, I want to do this, another key point supporting me throughout this journey is being open-minded. I feel that openness is very crucial when we are choosing a vegan diet. So like you need to being open to try new food, because when we are choosing this diet, right, it seems like restrictive. But when we change our mindset, there are still many other options out there we can try. So just be open to like trying new food, new restaurant, new recipe. Like this is the food that I try in Malaysia. Then this are the recipe that I try cooking. So like we're just trying to be open because sometimes it might turn out good and sometimes it might not. We just open it, accept with open heart. So like I feel that with this uh open-minded, the journey will easier. All right. Another one is about the social cycle because I used to worry about whether will I being left out if I choose vegan diet since most of my friends they are not vegetarian. However, I found a trick that during the hangout because one of the most difficult question is like where to eat the venue. So maybe we can just taking the initiative to suggest, maybe offer them the choices, maybe to choose a cafe, they have the vegan options, or just like putting inside the vegan cafe as the uh choices. So just let them choose. Then I noticed that actually quite many of my friends, they're actually okay to trying new things even though it is like 100% vegan cafe, they are okay as well. So like when we are we we're just trying to be open, then things actually can change to better way, I would say. Yeah, this is about the social cycle. And next is about being open to deal with family and close friends. Because which this is one of the hardest challenge for me so far. Because accepting that they may not choose this diet. So I just like sometimes I just feel um not sure like I don't know. I just like that time it is a bit I would say hardest challenge, but I just accepting that, then just just accept with open heart, and then like like just now the brother David Huang share, like sometimes we cannot do anything if that person not willing to. Even Buddha will ignore at the moment. So I think I can just like need to love them more. At the moment, you just love them more. And one of the thing I do is I pray for them. I say every time when we 回乡, then I just pray for them. So maybe some days the time will come, they will just accept it. We don't know. Yeah. So those are the things that I focus on when I trying to switch my diet, which is the body from mind, from social cycle and relationship. So actually, when we leave with open heart, the unexpected joyful things will happen. So that's all about my journey and how I adjust it. I hope you find some inspiration and give you some confidence if you wanted to try vegan diet. Thank you so much for listening, Kat.
Thank you so much, Sister Hui Fen, for a very,
Kat.
very insightful and heartfelt sharing because I think these are questions that face all of us in on the journey
Mm, mm,
of
mm,
our Bodhisattva path and also in our journey of transforming ourselves and also influencing others while we are on
mm,
this
mm,
journey, especially in promoting a sustainable lifestyle for the earth.
mm.
So all the things that you have mentioned, you covered basically everything. And we like very much how you introduce you bring us draw us into your presentation or your sharing, yeah, by touching our hearts first, yeah, as a mother. And I think this is a very deep impact on us. So maybe for the benefit
Yeah.
of the people on the floor, we don't really have a lot of time, but maybe are there anyone with any questions for Sister Hui Fen? And I suppose you asked the question, how young are you?
Actually, I'm 32 this year.
32. Oh, you
Yeah.
definitely do not look like 32. More like 23. More like 23. Okay,
Oh,
that's
is
one of the
it?
benefits. Yeah. Okay, anybody have any questions for Sister Hui Fen? Or any comments? Sister Xiao Qing. Yes.
Hey, Kak Sister, wow, truly very amazing sharing. Initially, when Sister Hui first started, I was thinking,
what is Sister Hui Wen trying to arrive at? Wow, this is a really, really good start because it first let us feel, connect us back to the feeling of mothers. And then, wow, when Sister Hui Wen brought in vegan, I think 真的是 very amazing, very grateful to have this chance to hear from Sister Hui Wen. Sister Hui Wen, may I ask on this that you all are from this group of Innerpeas, what are you all doing? Because I think today is more focusing on your journey. So we hope that this wouldn't be the first time. We hope to hear more from your side. Especially how do you, your movement on this Innerpeas, what you are doing in future? Maybe a brief briefing for us so we know what to expect for future. We will extend the invite again, Sister Hui Fen, to hear more of what you are doing activities. And
Oh, okay. Innerpeas is actually we discovered the good restaurant and we just like sharing the recipe. Yeah, more to like just sharing
I
on
see.
this. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. So basically what you all do is actually try to popularize or promote
Mm.
options of vegan options.
Yeah.
Is that it? Okay.
Mm.
All right.
And
I
because
think you're doing
last time, yeah, it's
Mm.
very
Okay.
hard to find the vegan option, but nowadays it's quite common, especially in Taiwan. Yeah, there are so many vegan options.
But in
Yeah.
Malaysia there's less, right?
Yeah, but still okay. They're still
Okay,
okay. Yeah.
Okay, great. So I think I resonated with what you said just now, especially the two last slides now where you said that for friends, especially comes to socializing, and the skillful way that you use is to let your friends actually decide rather than always say, hey, let's go and eat here. You say, hey, where do you all want to go eat? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then for families, indeed, I think today message resonates so deeply on the path of Bodhisattva, whereby to all that we face is the main guidance is compassion as the foremost.
Yes.
Yeah, in all our actions. And with that, I think wisdom also comes along with it. So, all right. Thank you so much. I think we have overshot by about 8 minutes, but I think it's all worth it. And Sister Hui even gave us a lot of recommendation of some documentaries and also some social media platforms, some influencers that we can actually connect with. And it's very important because we're trying to reach out to the young people as well. And I think you all are going to do a great influence for the younger generation, the peer, your peer generations. Yeah.
Got and
Okay, so with that, we've come to the end of our session for today. So before we go, we would like to, of course, let's put our palms together and we all rise and pay homage to the Buddha by offering 3 sincere bows. Right? Please rise, palms together. First bow, second bow, and third bow. And also a vow to abode masters who could join us today. And of course, to all the brothers and sisters who could join us,感恩 so much. And we look forward to seeing everyone tomorrow on Buddha's Day. Okay? 感恩大家. See you all tomorrow.